What's up, buddies? It's Concert Buddy. This week's episode, I'm taking you on a trip with me to a brand new, first time ever record show that I went to over in Southern Illinois. A lot of fun, well organized. I'll get all into it coming up after the break. Let's go! I had the great fortune of going over the weekend to the first ever Metroeast Show over in Southern Illinois. And it was a great show for a lot of reasons, but let's kind of walk back to how this show came about. If you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you've probably heard in a video or six me talk about my local record show, and it's the St. Louis Record Show, essentially. This show has been going on for years, probably over a decade plus, if not longer. And it happens 6 times a year. So I try to go to most of those. I don't think I go to every one every year, but I try to be a regular attendee to that show. So through doing YouTube, one of the great byproducts of doing this is making connections with people and connecting with people, even if they don't do videos themselves. And in this instance, I connected with another member of the VC named Travis, who actually introduced himself to me at one of these shows as somebody who watches these goofy videos I put out. Anyway, Travis could not be a nicer guy, well organized, a great collector, just a good dude. But as we started talking and kind of developing and learning about each other's collections and all that stuff as I'd see him at the shows and exchanging on YouTube, what have you, Travis had shared that he was interested in starting a record show over in Southern Illinois, Collinsville, Edwardsville area. Which I thought was a great idea because there's a lot of folks over there who actually travel to St. Louis to come to the St. Louis Record Show. Long-winded way of saying a lot of talk, a lot of planning, and a lot of effort went into Travis pretty much single-handedly getting the show off the ground. He organized it, advertised it, got folks to show up. They had a lot of great seeds or secrets to making this work. One was there was no fee to come and shop the record show, which I don't think it's a big barrier to entry, but hey, if you're saving $5-10, that's a big win.
Sure.
I know Travis was deliberate in making sure that the vendor tables were really inexpensive. I think they were like $10 a table, which is a really good rate. And then most importantly, he brought a coalition of willing vendors, some from St. Louis show and some are located other in Southern Illinois. And it made for a very productive event, because the last thing you want to do is go to one of these record shows and it's like a complete bust. You know, like one of those autograph signings or the professional wrestlers, they sit in a circle and you get like a Polaroid they take if you meet like Virgil or Macho Man Randy Savage's dog walker or something like that. So all the tables were sold out for the show. A lot of enthusiasm, great promotion. Like I said, Travis just outdid himself. And again, couldn't be a nicer guy in the vinyl community. Anyway, what did I pick up? Was this show worth the squeeze for a collector looking for the sweet, sweet wax? Well, the short answer is yes. Let me show you what I got.
Pardon my French, but you're an asshole.
So the first record I'm showing is, if you're a child of the 80s and John Hughes films in particular, then you're probably familiar with this one. This is 16 Candles. I think this was 1985, 84 movie. All John Hughes movies are deliberately curated for the music because it's really important to the way he soundtracked and kind of lit the backdrop of all of his films. This record isn't something that I see a lot in my area. In fact, Man of the Hour Travis, that's who I bought this from. I had seen it a couple times in the St. Louis show, but I never pulled the trigger. But what better time to pull the trigger on this piece than at the inaugural Metroeast Record Show? And he gave me a good deal on it. I got to spill the tea. Sorry, Travis, you hooked it up. So happy to add this one to the collection. I think probably the biggest song from here is obviously this. This is probably the closing scene of the movie. It's that song by the Thompson Twins, If You Were Here. But still, if you like John Hughes films, 80s films, gotta have this in your collection.
What's happening, hot stuff?
The next records I'm going to talk about, I actually got them from the same vendor, and it's the same artist. It's Clifford Brown, who was a trumpet player in the jazz era, tragically, like a lot of jazz musicians, life was cut short. I think he was actually in a car accident, if I remember correctly, but didn't really have a lot of output for his career. So in terms of finding things, I think he did a lot of his work with, I believe, Max Roach was a lot of his outputs. But anytime I can find these cheap records just to kind of ingratiate myself and learn more about this artist, I'm always happy to do it. These are obviously not terribly expensive records. This one obviously has like a corner cut, but got them from the same vendor, got a deal. Stuff that I'm willing to try on the cheap, see if I like it, kind of go from there. But Clifford Brown is an artist I'm really going to dig deeper into here in 2023.
No, that's correct.
So another flyer I took at the record show was this Melissa Etheridge 1999 album Breakdown. As you can see, it's sealed. I didn't even take the price sticker off. I got it for $15, but it comes with a 45 in there. I haven't opened it up yet. But looking on Discogs, some of the comps were, double, almost triple what I paid for this. So this is one of those records that I'm willing to take a flyer on, and if I like it, I'll keep it. If I don't, I'll move it on down the road. But this is the beauty of the record show, is that things that you're not even looking for sometimes present themselves, and you bring them home, like this one.
You're goddamn right.
Probably looking at this record and saying, okay, that's not really that great of a score. Duran Duran Rio. Au contraire, mon frère. This is a record, I already have this in the collection, but I'm amazed at how, I wouldn't say rare, but more collectible, pricey this record is getting on the resale market. Now, fortunately, you can see I didn't pay too much for this. Paid less than $10. Really great shape, nice clean jacket, a little cornerware on the sides, but this is now going for $30 all day, every day. And I guess it's because there hasn't been a proper reissue campaign. I really can't put my finger on it, but talking to other collectors, like this is one that it's kind of drying up. You're not seeing it as much as you used to. So I think all in all, this will probably be an upgrade copy. I'd have to pull mine and see what kind of shape it is. But it's one of those ones, if you see it, grab it, especially if you can get a good price on it like this. Why not?
Thanks for the tip.
So the last record I picked up at this Metro East Record Show was actually from one of my buddies in the VC, Billy Hurst, Riverbend Records. He was kind enough to set up shop at the record show, and I'd actually saw this George Strait Living It Up record in one of his recent store flip videos, but I just couldn't make it over to pick it up, so I was optimistic that he'd bring it, and sure as shit he did. Very fair price on this. Billy is really good about pricing. This is one of those records, particularly George Strait stuff in the 80s and 90s. This is a 1990 release. Never been reissued. It's really wild. Now, I know Vinyl Me Please just did a reissue of a similar album, and you see like this digital thing, so obviously I'm sure it's sourced digitally, but very, very, very hard to find George Strait records in my area. Now, when I've gone to the Austin Record Show, I've seen more there. I think it's probably more region specific. Like I'm sure if I was in Oklahoma or even farther south, Florida, Georgia, etc., you'd probably see more of this. But here in the Midwest, not a lot of King George going on. So I'm always happy to pick up records I don't have. And like I said, Billy hooked it up with a good price. So I was happy to bring this one home with me.
Milk was a bad choice.
Buddies, that's all she wrote. Metro East Record Show. I'm going to leave all kinds of information so you can follow them on social media if you're interested. If you're local, if you're in the Midwest, Southern Missouri, Northern Illinois, wherever you are, if you're curious about checking the show out. It can only get better from here, and since Travis sold the show out, all the tables out, a lot of people, can only go up. I mean, it's set a really great bar to build off of, and Travis has a lot to be proud of. Anyway, buddies, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking this out. As always, appreciate you stopping by. Remember, got the podcast thing going on, Vinyl Community Podcasts. If you get a try, check it out anywhere podcasts are found. But until next time, buddies, if you get the chance, just spin it. See you next time.
Well, well, well. How the turntables...
Well, we out of time.